What goes on, YouTube wrestling fans? You're here again, and we thank you for coming to this week's edition of the Final Contest. Now, we're going to do something a little different here. You may notice I'm opening the show, and that's because Monday Night Raw was here for the date of March 7th, 2011, and my tag team partner here actually went to the show.
I did.
So, what we're going to do is I'm going to give a TV view on it, and he's going to give a live view on it. So, Adam, let's jump right into it. Why don't you tell everybody how Raw came on the air?
We got to our seats, and we finished Superstars. They started putting the ring together, and I was actually expecting the fans to start going nuts when they saw the Raw stuff, but no, not really.
Yeah, usually that's what happens.
Something interesting that did happen before Raw happened, they sent out R-Truth, and I guess he kind of warmed up the crowd or whatever.
Milwaukee!
Right. He was like, Dallas! Who knows who the Undertaker is? And, fans start going nuts. And he says that the Undertaker has a new song, and he's going to let us hear it before anybody else, but don't tell Undertaker. So they played the Johnny Cash song that we heard last year for WrestleMania, and that we heard, when was that, last week? We saw the Undertaker come out and talk throughout all the promos in the old Western house. Same song. So how was it a new song? I really don't know. But we saw the Undertaker come out and do his full entrance. It was interesting that he was the only person, or one of the only people that had pyro.
Well, I remember when he won the Royal Rumble a couple years ago, and Raw was in Dallas. At the very end, he came up through the stage with the fire. I mean, it was awesome at that time.
Didn't you go to that show?
Yeah, I was at that show.
Okay, I did not go to that show. That's when he won his number 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He came out and said that he's the last outlaw. And on a side note, when we first walked into American Airlines Center here in Dallas, they had a new shirt that I didn't see anybody wearing, but it was for sale. And it was the Undertaker on kind of looked like an evil horse, and it said the last outlaw.
Again, that has to do with something. I feel something's going to come out of this.
Yeah, I don't know what is going to happen with that whole term, the last outlaw, but there's a last outlaw shirt that's out right now. Also, speaking of merchandise, the shirt Steve Austin was wearing, I saw that when I first walked in the arena. I saw that like an hour before he came out.
Yeah, and you called me and said Austin has a new shirt. I said, watch, he's going to wear that shirt tonight. And
I didn't think he would. I thought we were going to see the classic Austin 316, but no, we did not. So anyway, back to the Undertaker. He announced that it was going to be a no holds barred, which is, no DQ, no count out. And I feel that this is going to give people hope that, outside interference and anything's possible. And they want people to think Triple H is going to beat The Undertaker, which he's not.
And plus, if they get Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, it's going to give him all the hope. So, yeah.
Right. So we saw The Undertaker, got a great reaction from the fans. He didn't get the vibe of everyone went nuts, but he got the vibe, you can tell everyone respected him there.
Right.
Everyone respected him there, that's for sure. They might have not went nuts and, started screaming and chanting. Everybody respected him, and no one else got that last night except for The Undertaker with respect.
And The Undertaker, he's one of those people that when he comes, it just takes the whole air out of the arena, and it's just, just him.
Definitely.
So, that was probably a good way to open up Raw from a standpoint. Had The Undertaker come down, looked good. So after his segment, his promo and everything, you jump to backstage and you've seen Randy Orton fighting with the new Nexus.
Beat down.
And I have to say, this was probably my favorite part of Raw, just for the GTS. It was awesome. I love that. So then you've seen them dragging Randy Orton to the ring, and then it goes to commercial, and you can take it from there and see what you said.
Well, what I saw was they were dragging him out to the ring, and he was trying to maybe crawl, so they were kicking him in his back, and then they finally threw him in the ring. And they kind of just hovered around him like sharks. I'm guessing that's when the cameras turned back on?
That's exactly when the cameras turned. Yes.
Did it really?
As soon as the show came back on, they were in a circle around him and just looking at him.
Well, they stood in that circle for 2 minutes, just waiting. And I couldn't figure out why, and then it hit me, the cameras must be off right now. And I haven't seen the replay on my DVR of Raw, so I have no idea what Jason saw. All I know is what I saw last night. So then that match, if you want to call it a match with David Otunga, really didn't feel like a match. It was more or less just a squash until the last 4 seconds.
Which I
Uh,
knew was coming. I knew he's going to hit an RKO at any time.
yeah, no, it was stupid, but the fans went nuts.
Yeah, I seen the fans went crazy at this
The
point.
fans went
Like
ballistic.
I heard it, like you heard the fans just going crazy, Orton and Randy, and just going crazy, and CM Punk with that. It was honestly that was my favorite segment of the whole night, besides Austin, which we'll get into in a second.
But also he punted David Otunga.
Yeah,
Now when you don't watch that on TV when you're live. I forgot David Otunga was in the ring because he arguing with CM Punk, and then all of a sudden he punts David Otunga in his temple. So there's a few pros and cons of actually going to Raw and watching it on USA. One of the things that I hate about it, you don't hear the commentary, so you don't always know what's going on. And I'm sure, Jason, they were saying he's gonna probably kick Otunga. He's
yeah,
gonna kick him. See, I
yeah.
didn't get that. I forgot he was in the ring. I was like, oh wow, they're arguing. He's gonna fight with him. Then all of a sudden, you just see David Otunga, and I think they carried him out on a stretcher.
We did not see that.
Yes, they did. Was it David Otunga or someone else?
No, it was him.
Okay. Then they carried out David Otunga on a stretcher.
It did not show that.
Yes, he went out on a stretcher. They put him in a neck brace, then they put him on that board, then they put the board on the stretcher, and they wheeled him out of the arena.
Okay, so they're selling that pretty good then.
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, I think they wrote out David Otunga completely. Now, after that, we saw Alberto Del Rio come out with no car. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I was
But
wondering that too. What
now
happened with that?
you didn't know who Brodus Clay was.
No, I did not. I'm like, who the fuck is that guy?
Well, I saw him before NXT. I saw him in some FCW stuff. So when he came out, even though I haven't watched this last season of NXT, I knew who he was because I recognized him. But I knew he was on NXT anyway. And, Alberto Del Rio did this whole thing. You're going to fight with my friend.
I
And, Christian beat him, and that was kind of that. I mean, whatever. But I was like, why didn't he come out in a car? Right after that, we were in a suite and we were watching, hanging out, and whatever. So they showed like all the Hall of Fame class, and as soon as I seen him, I screamed so Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and they showed now this week the new announcement for the Hall of Fame was Sunny,
I
and she really didn't get a reaction from the crowd at all.
didn't get a reaction out of me.
I was surprised that they put her in there. And what's kind of funny about it, they're putting her in there with Shawn Michaels.
That was the only thing that as soon as I seen her, I'm like, wow, they're putting them together in the same year. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking too.
I didn't think, wow, Sonny, wow, I get to no, it was just wow, they're putting them together. I didn't care for that segment, honestly. I was like, whatever.
There was just a horrible Divas match, and for whatever reason, we saw these really long, exaggerated entrances from Eve Torres
I hate her.
and the Bella Twins.
I love some Brie Bella, definitely.
Well, it was horrible. Michael Cole stood up and started screaming, "Just end the match now! Why are you in the ring?" When he did that, everybody, they loved it. The whole American Airlines Center absolutely loved it. And that basically led us into Eve Torres retained. Then we saw, well, I don't know, obviously TV didn't see it, but we seen them roll out the red carpet. And Michael Cole came in the ring and started kind of like warming up the crowd. Are you ready? Are you ready? Then I guess when the cameras came on, he started actually speaking normally.
Yeah.
And said, all these clues about who the guest referee is going to be. And we see the limo come out for Justin Hawk Bradshaw. I was like, oh, okay, that's why they didn't have a vehicle for Alberto Del Rio. Because they had the big limousine probably taking up incredible space for no reason.
And still, we're going to have two cars coming out the same night.
Yeah, no, it was a bad idea. But he got absolutely no heat at all. The crowd had no reaction at all. Positive, negative. They were like, okay.
I had the same reaction. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. He did get a lot of heat, though, when he started mentioning the local sports teams. Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Stars.
You'll get heat anytime you do that.
Right, and that was the only way he could. Otherwise, nobody gave a shit about Justin Hawk Bradshaw, I promise you.
I didn't.
So in the middle of all this, back and forth nonsense. Literally just nonsense. The glass shatters. The arena's roof explodes. Pops right off the building. We were outside for half the night.
Nice.
Everybody loses their mind for Steve Austin. And, he comes out and does his whole, he's going on the ring post. And you know what, though? I don't remember if he was flipping everybody off.
He gave the finger. Yes, he did.
He gave the finger
He gave the finger.
Company.
PG
stated company, he is flipping off.
They tried to not show it, but it was impossible.
Well,
they tried not to. They really, really did, but no, couldn't happen.